Hello again, BookTube. This is another off-the-cuff book discussion video that I wanted to do, and I wanted to talk to you about a book that I read for this month for March Mystery Madness, which is dedicated, uh, an event on BookTube dedicated to reading mystery novels, and so I wanted to talk to you about the book that I read for that event. And the book that I read is it's a reread for me, but it's been a few years, and it is Mystic River by Dennis Lehane. And this, I have an interesting history with this book. So when I first read this book, it was about it a few years ago. It was during my first year of undergrad, and my first year of undergrad was not a very good time for me, like emotionally. Just just sort of growing up, being away from home, trying to adjust to adjust to a new uh, adjust to a new reality, I guess you could call it. Uh, that was difficult for me. So a lot of the books that I read during that time had sort of a looking back, they have a special meaning to me. Like Lonesome Dove was another one that I read at that time, and I read this during that time too. And this was not a good book to read during that time. If you have read this book or if you've seen the movie, then you know that it is a depressing story. Uh, the movie that was made out of this, it's a very good movie. It has Sean Penn, I think his name Anthony Robbins, the, the guy who was in Shawshank Redemption, the white guy, and it has Kevin Bacon in it and Lawrence Fishburne, and just an all star cast. Laura Linney, I think, is in it too, and it won a couple Academy Awards. It won for Best Supporting Actor um, for Robbins, and even Sean Penn even won Best Actor for it. Um, yeah, Clint Eastwood directed. I can't remember if I said that already or not, but the book I think is even better. But again, I'm biased. So this is set in South Boston, um, and it's about three friends uh, who grow up together, and they are all sort of by or bonded, whether they want to or not, by a really bad event that happened to them. That happened to one of them whenever they were about 11 years old. They were each about 11 years old. And so uh, the bad thing that happens, I don't want to spoil too much of it, because part of the I guess you'd say the beauty of this book, for lack of a better term, is finding that out on your own. Uh, what happens is not beautiful, obviously, but the one that had it happen to him, his name was. I just read the book. Why am I not remembering his name? Dave. Yeah, there's a Dave Boyle and Jimmy Marcus and uh, Sean Devine, and uh, Dave has something really bad happen to him at the beginning of this book. The book starts out whenever they are all kids, and then it fasts forward about 30 years later, and you get to see what they are all like um, as adults. Dave is sort of a day job, sort of a day worker, a dock worker. Jimmy Marcus, he owns a grocery store, but uh, he was also an ex-convict, and Sean is he's a detective in Boston, and they all sort of live in the same neighborhood that they grow up, and the main crux of the story is that um, Jimmy Marcus, his teenage daughter, is murdered, and so there's that part of the story that's happening, and then on the night of the murder, Dave comes back. He comes back, to his apartment, and his wife sees him with blood all over him, and so you really get to. Uh, it's a really interesting mystery novel, and it was interesting reading this, rereading this, because there were a lot of it I forgot. Like I know who the main twist of the main killers and everything, but parts of the story I really did not. I couldn't remember. Couldn't remember very much since it had been a few years, and it held up to a reread. It's a very good mystery novel. I mean, it isn't Tolstoy or Charlotte Bronte or anything like that, but it's really good. Like you will be riveted to this. As depressing as this novel is, you will keep reading it. And I blasted through this thing in the span of a few days. I mean, it's only about 400 pages long, and yeah, this was the bookmark that I used. But thing things I did not like about it, there were some elements of this novel that um, I think is sort of a main problem with at least all of the books of Dennis Lehane that I have read, which is that the characters in this at times, well, for one, the dialogue can be a little cornball at times, or the South Boston cornball, and also, but it doesn't take away from the story. It's only in bits and pieces. Like toward the beginning, like the kids really, I don't think that's how kids talk. Whenever you're reading this, that's the impression I got. And also, there are the decisions that the characters make in this novel, especially Jimmy and Dave. Well, I guess I am going to get into spoilers, so if you haven't read this and you want to read it, spoiler alert, do not watch past this. Uh, but there are parts of this novel that only characters in a novel would make. It is not realistic at all. For example, at the very end, so again, I warned you about the spoilers. So at the end, whenever Jimmy thinks that Dave is the one who killed his daughter, uh, Jimmy decides to kill. He decides to kill Dave. He takes him out there behind the bar where he killed the previous person, where he killed just Ray Harris, and he holds Dave at gunpoint, and the parts of this the part of the thing that really bothered me, that I thought was really kind of dumb, was that so you get a lot of Dave's inner dialogue while this is happening, and Jimmy tells Dave, "If you just tell me why you killed her, then I will not, then I won't kill you. You just go to prison forever." And Dave, according to Dennis Lehane, Dave decides that he would rather he would rather Jimmy think that he killed his daughter than tell the truth about what he did and why he had the blood on his clothes, why he went and he beat that child molester to death. He would rather Jimmy think that he killed his daughter than for Jimmy to think that. That's dumb. That's kind of stupid. Uh, I I think anybody, if they were held at gunpoint, as much of a sort of vigilante type thing it is that Dave did, uh, why would you rather why would you rather Jimmy think that you killed him, that you killed his daughter, than the other thing? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. And there were just other things throughout the novel that kind of, it sort of reminded you that this was a fake story, that this was a novel, but it doesn't. It really does not take away from the enjoyment of this at all. I still really liked this, really enjoyed it. I don't read, for whatever reason, I don't read mystery novels that much at all. This is one of the very few that I've read. I've also read, of Dennis Lehane, I've read Shutter Island, which I loved, and I read his most recent novel, Small Mercies. He says that it's his last novel that he's ever going to write. I think that's bullcrap, but that's a different story. I think Small Mercies is objectively probably his best book, but this is probably his more ambitious novel. I mean, this made him a buttload of money. Like I said, the movie is very good. Um, so if you don't want to read if you don't want to read the book and just want to watch the movie, that's fine too. Um, and so yeah, uh, that was my uh, selection for March Mystery Madness. What I wanted to read, and so I highly recommend this. It is a terrific mystery. Again, it's not literary or highfalutin prose, but it's still really good. It is moody. It is dark. It is depressing. That's something I did not expect the first time I read it, and this time too. It's just how depressing this is. Like it's really dark, but in a good way. I think I tend to draw more towards the moody and brooding dark novels. I've just always been that way, and so but yeah, highly recommend this and read it. So that was my selection for March Mystery Madness, and I guess I will see you next time.